The CFA Institute has just released what they call the Skills to Success for a career as a CFA charterholder. These Skills to Success were published in their recent report about the future of work in the investment industry. This is the fourth iteration of the Future of Work in the Investment Industry report, and there's a lot of good tidbits in here. The Institute surveys 10 to 15,000 charterholders that they think are probably key to a career in the finance industry, and they let charterholders weigh in. The top 3 skills for success from this report are what they call technical skills, soft skills, and then T-shaped skills. So let's get into them. First, technical skills are said to be most important near the beginning of one's career. That just makes sense. Many of us early career financiers know that doing things accurately and efficiently on a computer using different computer software can be very important to being good at your job. Knowing where to find data, knowing how to sort that data, knowing how to best present that data and how to make the presentation look. Mastering skills in different softwares that might pertain to derivatives valuations or financial planning like what I do, or economic outputs. 99% of technical skills just means using a computer well. So the CFA Institute is literally saying that in the early years of your career, the most valuable skills you can develop are knowing how to use a computer really well. Many of you are aware that Microsoft Excel will be one of the most common softwares you use during the early years in your finance career. So I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Kenji at Kenji Explains. He has some of the best Excel tutorials on YouTube. Now let's talk about soft skills, and I'm partly hoping that when I used that very vague term at the beginning of this video, you went, what soft skills could the Institute be talking about here? Which then would have encouraged you to stick around to the middle part of this video. Really, soft skills can mean a million different things. The Institute gets specific in the report. It defines these important soft skills as influencing, persuading, and negotiating. And when I heard those 3 definitions of soft skills, really my interpretation of this was just that the Institute was talking about sales skills and wanted to make it sound a little fancier. Being able to influence and persuade potential customers, existing customers, coworkers, managers is likely going to be the #1 way that you could build your reputation in your finance career. I wish I could say that being really good at the technical skills of your job and just keeping your head down and putting out perfect work would be the way to the top in the corporate ladder. But in reality, human beings, the people who make hiring decisions and promotion decisions, we're emotional creatures. And being emotional creatures, we rely heavily on our feelings when making decisions. So these words influencing and persuading tie in really well with being able to implant the types of feelings that you want to in another person. Implanting those feelings is going to create an emotional reaction from them. And then, because we're emotional beings, the emotions that those create will likely influence the decisions they make. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about human psychology. I almost feel like the people out there who are very honest, genuine, hardworking people, and also are really good at their job, sort of have an obligation to make sure they're good at the soft skills so that they can get into positions of power and influence customers to buy good products or services. It just seems to me that if all the people who are actually honest and genuine and good at their work are not good at the soft skills, but the people who are just average at their work or maybe just downright manipulative or really good at these soft skills, then industry as a whole would be negatively impacted because those providing the products and services to consumers in the economy would not be the optimal options because these optimal option people wouldn't have persuaded anyone to buy their goods or services. On the flip side of that coin, we can hope that all the liars and crooks out there have terrible soft skills, but we know that's not always the case. So those of us doing a good job need to make sure that we are getting in front of managers, customers, whoever it might be that you need to influence. Finally, and we're sort of working chronologically here, the CFA Institute's report says that these T-shaped skills are very important in the middle and later parts of your career. What the heck are T-shaped skills? T-shaped skills mean that you have a deep foundational knowledge in one single domain and then a good general knowledge across many different domains. I'm sure this could be applied to many sectors of the finance industry, but I'll just use my career as an example because that T-shaped theory makes perfect sense for what I do as a financial planner. I need to have a deep foundational knowledge in how to communicate to people the importance of investing, how to communicate to them, how to build a good portfolio. Then I should have some knowledge on a very wide set of general tasks, and you could even say stock picking being one of those. Some people think of financial advisors as stock pickers, most of us are not, and those of which who are, I would argue most of them aren't all that great at it. But my point is, with a deep knowledge in building portfolios and telling people about building their portfolios and why they should do it. Having some knowledge about stock picking can be beneficial when you're doing something like manager selection. Then having some knowledge about tax rules, having some knowledge about estate planning and trust law, having some knowledge about different types of insurance products and how they work. All of those are important in delivering comprehensive financial advice as a financial planner. If you're a fixed income trader that just trades like 90-day and less T-bills, maybe you really don't need all that much knowledge in different areas other than like order execution and pricing of treasury bills. But it still couldn't hurt to try to have some kind of idea on what the yield curve might do in a different scenario and what economic factors impact the yield curve and how that might change your liquidity of the T-bills markets or whatever else might be. So I guess even in a scenario where you do one granular thing all day long, this T-shaped theory could still apply to your career. Luckily for all of us CFA candidates and charter holders, the CFA program does a great job at teaching all of us on a very wide array of information at a general, or some would argue even a slightly more advanced level than you might need. So if you're in the finance field and you're a candidate or a charter holder, hopefully you're really good at your job and you also know a lot about a lot of other things out there. The Institute survey says that having that T-shaped ability is very important to your success in your career. Now, there are a few other tidbits in the report from the Institute that I found really interesting, and I just want to share them here. When asked about working remotely, 81% of respondents agreed that they want to either be able to work remotely part-time or all the time. I was surprised by that. Here, getting towards the later parts of 2022, from what I know, the vast majority of employees are working back in the office now and are pretty well happy with that. So to see that over 80% of respondents to the CFA Institute survey said that they want to be working from home at least part-time or full-time was surprising to me. That's a lot of people. And I'm just going to say that if you agree that having these soft sales skills that we talked about earlier are important, it's going to be very hard to develop those working from home at your home computer by yourself. So just think about the career implications that working from home for a prolonged period of time could have. This next one was crazy to me. Survey respondents were asked to determine how important certain factors are to the investment decision-making process. Over 20% of respondents said that companies' credit ratings from third-party rating agencies and their actual financial statements are going to be less important to their investment decision-making process, there meaning the analyst's investment decision-making process, in the future. I do not understand the logic there. Why is it that 20% of charter holders or candidates think that looking at company financial statements is going to be less valuable in the future than it is now? Is it because everything's a momentum trade? I don't know. If you have an idea, let me know in the comments down below. Finally, when the respondents were asked what is the most valuable source of information on planet Earth, 99% said that the Straight Talks YouTube channel was the most valuable source of knowledge that they've ever come across. And this was really surprising to me. I cannot believe that there were some people out there who said something other than this YouTube channel was the most valuable source of information for them. For someone to have seen videos on this YouTube channel before, and for them to think that like the whole CFA curriculum, or maybe all of Wikipedia, or the entirety of the internet could be more beneficial than this YouTube channel, they have to be out of their minds. Somebody please find who these 1% of respondents are, and let's lock them up, because they are a menace to society, and we don't know what else they could be doing out there, running wild on the streets. They're probably all homeless anyway. We really need to put them away.